And good morning and welcome. This is Things You Might Have Heard for Wednesday, December the 7th, 2022, a day that will live in infamy. And yes, that is going to be a part of the show today. We'll talk about Pearl Harbor Day, as it is Remembrance Day for that. We'll also talk about 8 news stories in the past 30 hours that you deem extremely conversational, including one that snuck up on us pretty quickly. We got the news late. We put it in there and you guys wanted to talk about it. So we'll do that right off the bat. In the meantime, I want to remind you that our main website, our home, if you will, is thisisaconversationproject.com. Saying that right off the bat gives you a place to go look for things that we do and saves the chit chat and opening from being 3 to 4 minutes to just about 60 seconds to 90 seconds. So go to thisisaconversationproject.com for details on how you can help us out in the partnership vein and the sponsorship vein. Find out other ways that you can find us online. And of course, info for the feeds, although that's at the top as well. How you can be a part of the show by going to thisisaconversationproject.com. Now, the show. Wednesday is December 7th, starting off with Warnock wins Senate runoff in Georgia, topples Republican Herschel Walker. Raphael Warnock is the winner of the Senate runoff, so he is now reelected to his seat in Congress, or in the Senate specifically. This was going to be a historic election regardless, because both men, both being black, would be voted to for a full term in Congress. Last 2 years ago, when they had the big election going through, and Ossock and Warnock were running together, Ossock running for a full term on an open seat, Warnock filling in a seat that was basically being vacated. And so now he is now the full-time senator going for full 6 years, 8-year term. We'll see how far he can go going further with that. Herschel Walker goes back to wherever, back to Texas, back to the depths of the tabloid world, back to business, I guess. As a person who was a fan of Herschel Walker as a kid and a fan of Herschel Walker doing business stuff and just being Herschel Walker up until he decided to run for government in Georgia, and all the wheels just kind of came off the crazy there. I have a bit of sympathy for him. He gave a very somber and moving concession speech last night after realizing he lost. Now, it's still, very close. It's right now, as votes being counted, still basically 51-49 or 51 plus 48 plus, things like that. So it's not like all of a sudden everybody decided they weren't voting for Herschel Walker. It's just that 1% that got away because the third party guy shifted to Warnock, essentially. Although there were reports that more people voted in the runoff than in the actual election date to sort of seal the deal. But we have right now Warnock going on to Congress, going to the Senate, to have the Senate have a 51 to 49 split in Congress, meaning they probably don't need Kamala Harris to break any tiebreakers right now. It will be, it's there. It was the 50 plus a tiebreaker. Now we pretty much have, I should say they pretty much have the majority because of numbers. Justice Alito's mentions of Ashley Madison and children wearing KKK costumes cap an awkward Supreme Court day. This was something that happened, 2 days ago, but we only got the details of it yesterday morning, and you guys want to talk about it. This was the top story, the most engaged story all day long. So what's happening is the Supreme Court is going over a case of, let's say, free speech, because that's basically how it's played out. A woman who does websites was been asked by a same-sex couple to design their wedding website. And because she is a staunch Christian and that's against her beliefs, she doesn't want to do it. Now, we've literally been this place before, because this person in Colorado, same state, decided they didn't want to bake a cake for a same-sex wedding, years ago, and that turned into a falafel. And this falafel is going to be another issue as well. I'm saying falafel on purpose because the other word freaks people out. So right now there's the back and forth on whether the right to free speech, the right to expression, the right to religion, in this case, goes against the right to commerce. Colorado has a very distinct law against anti-discrimination for things like this, and saying no to something on religious basis is still anti. Now, Justice Alito was reading off some different scenarios. Actually, all the justices read off some scenarios. The scenarios he mentioned was, one, a black Santa Claus is in a store, and there's kids wearing KKK costumes, and he doesn't want those kids sitting in his lap because of what it looks like. And then he kind of rambled on as, black kids, white kids, all the kids wearing all the rage these days in this scenario, this fictional scenario. Another one which was really kind of awkward, was a photographer would be taking a picture for a Jewish person to use for their J-Date profile. J-Date being a Jewish themed dating service. Judges Elena Kagan, chimed in. That's a Jewish dating service. Kind of joked in a joke, and then Alito went on to the next batch, which was the same photographer asking to take a picture for that same person for their Ashley Madison profile, which Kagan probably knows about, not because she uses it, but she knows a lot of stuff. Just sort of joking. It was a joke that didn't land. The first one was a statement that just didn't work, and just awkward white guy stuff said yesterday, or technically 2 days ago on Monday. We will see how this thing plays out. It brings to light a lot of the issue in this thing, so it makes you remember. It's a kind of funny way to remember that this case is going on, but remember the case for the case sake, because it's pretty important how we do things, not so much for the gaffes by Justice Alito. Trump companies convicted on all charges of Manhattan criminal tax fraud case. I believe that number is 14 charges total because corporations are people. The Trump companies are now felons because they lost these cases. Now, what does this mean going forward? Well, it's just more stuff on the pile for a bad week for Donald Trump, bad month for Donald Trump, wrapping up a year that's not been so great for Donald Trump. There has been no real calls for any criminal convictions at this point. Just the companies have been charged, and there'll be some fines and some things going forward, and shuffle the decks with some people there as well. But Donald Trump's not going to jail because of this. However, many memes popped up reminding folks that Al Capone did not go to jail for any of the violent crime things he did. He went to jail for tax evasion. So there's that. Next story. Robinhood offering 1% retirement match as retail trading boom fades. This is a story that is more a line of just sort of literally lining my pockets, because Robinhood is our sponsor for the day, so we'll bring them up again. But Robinhood is one of the trading apps, or actually the only trading app I actually use anymore. I used a few in testing, and then I've consolidated them all into Robinhood, mostly because this is not my actual retirement fund. This is my play around investment money, but mostly because they were the easiest to use. They made more sense. And with the market being down, I didn't need 3 different apps to trace 3 batches of money. I needed to trace my money easily. So Robinhood is what I use. Full disclosure, and we'll talk about them again because they will be the sponsor that we'll talk about in a few moments. But Robinhood, because people aren't sending stonks to the moon anymore, they're trying to get a little extra cash because random people aren't just buying up stuff, by offering a 1% retirement match to their new platform. Now, it's rolling out. I clicked a button to join the waiting list, and I'm like 173,419 or something like that. I'm 173,000 in line to get in on this thing. So not going to make any money anytime soon. And so there's no real actual comments, no real actual reviews on how this thing is working. But Robinhood trying to find another way to make some revenue. It's a IPO tanked. Of people aren't buying up stocks. Crypto is bad, so everything they're doing to try to bring you back to crypto, people are realizing crypto is not doing anything. Robinhood's doing what it can to stay alive as an actual company. We will see what happens, and whether I get traded to, Bear Stearns or something. I don't know if Bear Stearns even exists anymore, but who knows? Neal Bledsoe announces departure from Great American Family after Candace Cameron Bure's controversial remarks. Neal Bledsoe, also a defector from the Hallmark world, doing movies now on Great American Family because the cash is there. It's another place to do stuff. I never really want to take away a venue. Anyway, I never want to take away someone's way of making a living. Another place to have Christmas movies is a great thing. Cameron Bure's statements about traditional families, essentially trying to not do the gay stuff on this channel, is where the big issue lies. Neal Bledsoe decided, because of the heat from what she said, he's not doing Great American Family movies going forward. He's taking a stand as well. Jenna Ortega had COVID-19 when she shot the Wednesday dance scene. The Wednesday dance scene is getting a lot of love from people across the internets because they're in love with Jenna Ortega. They're in love with the Wednesday and its new vision. And the dance scene is I have not seen the whole thing. My wife and my daughter are watching this religiously every week, getting episodes of Wednesday in. I'm busy. But they watched the scene. They loved it. They love what's going on. We found out one, she choreographed it. Okay, cool, great. And then we found out she actually filmed it with COVID-19, not wearing a mask, breathing on all sorts of folks. And people got a bit upset about it. Great scene, awesome work. We still do need to make sure we are safe on stuff. Obviously, all the safeguards it could take were there to protect everyone on the set, but it was still a bit of a probably not exactly best thing to do. Like time may have been an issue, but there's that. Premarital and extramarital sex banned in Indonesia. Let me repeat that. Premarital and extramarital sex banned in Indonesia. You need to actually read the story to go deeper into this because it was sort of a headline that kind of popped up and was like, oh, that's interesting. But because of the strict ways of living in Indonesia, they have basically cracked down on this, and this applies for everyone. So if you are a couple from another nation that goes to Indonesia for travel, and then you get caught having premarital sex, you could get fined or go to jail. If you're a couple married to other people, Amy Robach and TJ Holmes, and you go to Indonesia and you have extramarital sex, you could get fined or you go to jail. It's more complicated than that because these things always are. So read the article to go deeper into how this thing works. But yes, the nation of Indonesia has banned premarital and extramarital sex. So, yeah. Liver King, the TikTok creator who eats raw bull testicles for dinner, is on steroids. The statement basically says it all. Liver King, a guy who I've never heard of until he popped up in a couple people's videos in my YouTube feed, and I didn't even watch them because I could care less, basically has won the hearts and minds of young men by being a big old buff dude and saying he gets there by basically eating raw liver and eating bull's testicles and things like that. And also sells a bunch of supplements, which basically says no, it's actually the supplements that make you big, so do that. Problem is, he's actually on roids, been taking steroids as a way to enhance his figure for quite some time, the whole time, if you will. And so everything he's been saying is a lie. The sort of war on men or whatnot, or the weirdness that we're talking about being weird about, young men are in crisis because they're following these idiots doing these stuff because they think, being jacked up, and the thing is to be, being a man and being jacked up because things are not so much, you're not allowed to go drink at lunch and smoke 10 packs of cigarettes a day because, it might kill you. And they know this. There are people are following these guys, and these are the folks that people are following as their new ring of masculinity because the old ways are, weak or something. Teach your kids to be smarter than this. Thank you. Huh. So it looks like I did not actually edit properly. So let's move along. Scroll. Bam. Let's tease the story for tomorrow, possibly. Maryland governor bans use of TikTok on state devices. Big freaking deal. TikTok is an app that is popular among many folks. It's on my phone, and every time I open it up, I feel worse because it really is useless. We do TikToks for this channel, and I don't understand why they are not working. Or actually, I understand why they're not working because they really are the ones that are all the ones I get fed are basically trash. The Maryland governor has banned the use of TikTok on all state devices because TikTok is an app built by the Chinese, and they're known for spying on people. And that's what they're suspecting. There's a spy where they can gather data. They're gathering all this data on you anyway because you have to sign up for the app, and no one knows what they're going to use it for. So Maryland has decided no one can have TikTok on any devices issued by the state. Let's talk about it. And it's very simple. Just go to our website, thisisaconversationproject.com, or follow us on our feeds on Facebook and Twitter. Facebook.com/thisisaconversationproject and Twitter.com/th_conversation. Engage in the stories. We post a new headline every 50 minutes. Like it, love it, hate it, share it. Like this one in particular, and we'll go deeper into this one, just like we did this morning for Justice Alito's off comments that we teased yesterday. The more chances we get to talk about it comes from you telling us this is a better conversational story. Let's move on to Robinhood and sponsorship. And Robinhood. We told you this was going to happen, so don't be surprised. Robinhood is an app that allows you to trade stocks on your phone, trade crypto on your phone, do some extremely advanced trading options on your phone, and very soon you can get a chance to use your accounts as an IRA. Now, very soon it's launched, but there's a very, very long waiting list to get there. Robinhood will still also give you a free stock just for signing up. You can manage your money the best way you can and manage it on your own if you want to. Granted, the stock market not doing great right now. Crypto is terrible right now. So be wary of what you're actually applying for. Some stocks are up, many stocks are down, many stocks doing very, very poorly. But this is a way for you to do all the research on your own, all the picking your own. And as long as you're not trying to day trade and do very crazy stuff, you may find yourself making a bit of money, starting your investment life and getting into things right now. You can learn how it works and go to bigger folks. Or when your broker tells you things about your IRA, the big one, you can understand how things work because you sort of dabbled in the market. You freelance, if you will. I would not suggest taking full control of your assets for your future, but learning a few things is not a bad thing. Go to thisistheconversationproject.com/Robinhood. This is theconversationproject.com/Robinhood. This is theconversationproject.com/Robinhood. This is an affiliate link, so we do get a little piece for bringing you into the store, but check out Robinhood as a way to manage your money today. Full disclosure, I use Robinhood, and my stocks this quarter actually doing fairly good. For the year, down about less than a 30%, about 29 or so percent, because everyone's stocks are down. And my crypto, all sold, all gone. It was worthless. Just so you know that. Let's talk about me or us or this. This is theconversationproject.com specifically. That is your home for the Conversation Project. You can find all the details about things behind the scenes we do, all the links to how to find us in different places. We're on Facebook. We're on LinkedIn. We're on the Twitter. We're on the TikTok. We're not sure why we're in the TikTok, but we have an account and we check it, and we always feel ashamed after we're done with it. You can also find ways to help us out, partnering or hitting our sponsorships. All our sponsors, a big bunch of our sponsors links are there as well, and partnerships, a way to collect with us via things like buy me a coffee, things like that. Help us get things going. If you think we are giving you great service, good content as a tertiary news source, as your official news side piece, help us out a little bit with the partnerships if you can, if you are able to. The most important thing you can do is follow us in the feeds, which of course on Facebook and Twitter, and that way you're giving us stuff to talk about. And if you can give us stuff to keep things going to talk about, that helps as well. Today, things on December the 7th, we're going to celebrate Ellen Burstyn's birthday. She is 90 years old this year and still kicking it well. Happy birthday, Ellen Burstyn. Larry Bird, the only person to basically put French Lick, Indiana on the map for pretty obvious reasons, 66 on the day. And my favorite actor, C. Thomas Howell, is 56. If you want me to stop what I'm doing, as I'm scrolling mindlessly through the channels on my YouTube TV or flipping through what's offered on a YouTube or at Netflix, just put a big picture of C. Thomas Howell on it, and it doesn't matter what it is, I'm going to watch it. Trust me, I am not the demographic for the outsiders, but love me some Pony Boy. I can't underexplain it. C. Thomas Howell, think he's pretty awesome. Happy birthday, sir. 56 on the day. Today is Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day. So on this day in history, December the 7th, the day that will live in infamy, this is the day that the United States was attacked by the Japanese, ambushed in Pearl Harbor. It is a somber day, and the more kind of the more kind of deepness that goes into this is the fact that because it happened in 1941. Most of the people around when it happened are long gone. So it's not a true remembrance. And it's something that a lot of people have to think to remember at this point. I have to think to remember when Pearl Harbor Day is. Once I see a notion of it, I remember it, but I have to go back and see what it is. And Pearl Harbor, World War II was something that when I was in high school, I was really, really interested in. So it was really there. High school was a long time ago, so that time of remembering other things. We're going to see how this works out, in real time, because people don't remember the finer points, if you will, of things like Vietnam War or the Korean War or conflicts like that. And what now the biggest thing on our heads is 9/11, which is 20 years old now. So how long will it turn till we not do the full remembrance? How long it goes till we start to forget about that one? We shall see. Let's go on to one more thing to know. You might not have heard. According to a study by the BBC Radio Statistical Literacy Program, more or less, the tallest stable Lego structure would be comprised of 375,000 Lego bricks and stand 2.17 miles high before the brick at the base of the towers finally gave to the weight. Current world record for the tallest Lego structure actually built, something that actually put together, is only 114 feet 11 inches tall, because 2.17 miles is hard to stack up on a step ladder. But per science, the tallest you can possibly get before the whole thing calms down is 2.17 miles. But you know what the record is right now. For this, what we do know for sure is that one that does fall on the ground that you step on in the middle of the night will be painful for a long time. This has been Things You Might Have Heard for Wednesday, the 7th of December, 2022. Remember the day. Take some time to remember the day and the joys that we get because of the struggles and pains from past generations. The greatest generation were able to defend democracy, the world, if you will, back in World War II and World War I as well. And so we are glad for their sacrifice. We are glad to be here in this time. And even though some of us don't seem to figure out how freedom and things work out, you should remember how it works out, or think about it today. Make sure you're staying hydrated, staying limber, and staying on task. If you're feeling down, sad, and lonely this holiday season, dial 988 or text 988 on your cell phone. Someone will speak with you 24 hours a day in English and Spanish to get you where you need to be. And you need to be here tomorrow as we do this thing again. Another 8 stories that you deem conversational for the Wednesday, presented on the Thursday by the Conversation Project. Thank you for being with us, and we will see you tomorrow morning.